Hi, welcome to Farm Bread. I'm Kate. So today I'm really excited to share a new recipe and tutorial on how to make a super soft and light sourdough that even your kids will love. So keep in mind, I try to make everything as simple as possible. So I keep the number of folds to a minimum, and I also work the bread making process around my own schedule. You can definitely do this too. This way we can make delicious, healthy breads right at home. You don't have to stress about making time for it or for laboring in the kitchen. It's a win-win for everyone. Let's get to it.
To begin, we'll start by adding the ingredients. I'm going to make a triple batch, which means I'm going to make 3 loaves. And because of that, I am going to do this using my mixer to help me incorporate the ingredients. More ingredients, more dough, it's easier to use the mixer. So I'm going to be using my Ankarsrum. I'm going to put my ingredients in my bowl to begin with and then use the mixer to help me blend everything together. First things first, I'm going to add my starter, which is active and bubbly. Because I'm tripling this batch, I would normally do 80 grams of starter for a single loaf. So I will be doing 240 grams of starter. That's active, bubbly. So you're going to make sure that you time it accordingly, that you feed your starter at least a couple days before. You start feeding it a couple days before so that you have it ready to go when you are ready to make these loaves. And the beauty behind sourdough as well is you can always freeze it really nicely. Sourdough freezes really well, so I tend to like to make a large batch and then I can freeze it and either share it with some friends or family or, just pull it out whenever we need it. Okay, I'm going to zero out my scale and we're going to be using 365 grams of warm water, or for this batch, 1,095 grams of warm water, or you could use milliliters. Now I'm just going to stir this together with my Danish dough whisk before I add in the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so now we're going to add 60 grams of what I like to use is like a raw organic sugar. And the same 60 grams of softened butter. I think the butter is what makes this better. Butter usually makes everything better. Give it a little stir. And now I'm going to add our organic bread flours. So we'll add 1,500 grams of bread flour. Make sure you zero out your scale. We are going to add about 30 grams of pink Himalayan salt. Okay, I am going to move this over onto my mixer and we will start mixing. right, so I'm gonna attach my dough knife. Then I will add my dough roller. I'm gonna put my mixer on low to begin. And you can see because of all the flour we have, it easily comes up around the top of the roller. Just pull your, if you are using the Ankarsrum, just pull your Ankarsrum in towards the center so that it doesn't get stuck climbing up. And I can actually set it in place like this. But I love this mixer so much. It's so easy to work with and manipulate so that you can get the desired effect. Increase the speed just a little bit. I want to make sure we get all of our ingredients blended nicely and combined. It is coming together really nicely. I'm not seeing any major dry spots or wet spots for that matter. Nice big glob of dough. My uncle shared a recipe with me that included these ingredients, but the process was much more intricate with a lot of folds, and it required just a lot of time. And so I was a little bit hesitant to try it at first, but once I gave this a shot with my own folding and kneading techniques, it really came out beautifully. So I'm super excited to share it with you. Sure everything's been incorporated. Gonna give it one quick swirl on high just to confirm. Turn it off, and now I'm just going to let this sit for about 45 minutes. Then I'll come back and do our first fold with it. All right, I will see you then.
Okay, we're back. As you can see, I took our bowl off of our mixer. I took it so that I could put the lid on. I took the dough knife and the dough roller out. So for those that do not have an Ankarsrum mixer, I'm going to do the rest of this by hand. You can certainly use your Ankarsrum mixer for this, but for those that just don't have one, like I said, I'm just going to do the rest of this by hand. And I kind of lost track of time and realized I am cutting it a little close because I need to get my daughter to school and I have to go to work. So I am actually doing this so the dough rested for 30 minutes and now I'm coming in and I'm just going to tighten the shape just a little bit before it's bulk rise. So to do that, I just go in and just kind of pull it up. Now, because there's so much dough, it's a little bit messy, as you can see. It's also a good hydration. So It's a little bit harder to work with because of the batch of 3, but it is doable. Just takes a little bit more elbow grease than if it was 1 loaf. But you can already see as I stretch it up how it's coming together more like a dough. And what you really want to do is kind of shake it, lift and shake, so that you can kind of get down to the bottom. Make sure we're getting that the whole dough instead of just the top layer. There we go. And then it will be really fun to see when I come back after work today. I'm going to do another set of folds with this, and you'll see how the dough has really come together nicely. So I just keep doing this. I feel like when I have a larger batch, it takes a little bit longer, but it's just kind of scooping and folding. Nothing too laborious. All right. So this is looking good. Dough is feeling good. Hopefully you can get a good idea of this texture at this point. And I'm just going to let this sit all day for a bulk rise. My house is roughly 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm just going to leave it on the counter. All right, I'm going to cover this up. And I will see you in about 8 to 10 hours. All right, welcome back. It has been about 8.5 hours since I left. This is what our beautiful dough looks like. Okay, this is definitely tripled in size. You can definitely see some beautiful air bubbles and growth in here. So I am now going to fold the dough. This should take about 30 seconds to a minute. Because I have 3 loaves or a batch of 3 in here, it's definitely going to take a little bit longer. And I just want to make sure that we get this into a nice kind of smooth ball before I let it sit for another hour or so. And this is really the only set of folds aside from that original before I left for work this morning that we're going to do. So I'm trying to make this process as simple and uncomplicated as it can be, while still creating a really delicious loaf of bread. All right, here we go. Oh, nice and stretchy. Yep. So we just kind of go in like a clockwise, or actually counterclockwise direction, just by stretching the dough up and then letting it kind of fold back down on itself. There's a lot of dough here, so you will definitely find that if you have 1 loaf, it will be much easier. You can just feel the strength of the dough. The longer you do it, you can really feel it come together. And ideally what we will do is kind of be able to shape this into a ball. Now I'm going in the clockwise direction, and you can see as I'm lifting it up how it's starting to actually look like a dough and a nice ball. So you just want to keep going in at it like this until it forms like that nice kind of smooth ball like surface. I know this is a little bit more laborious, so if you do have a mixer, you can certainly use your mixer to help. If you're only doing 1 loaf and not a batch of 3, that will be a lot easier for you. All right, so I think we are looking good. Just gonna tuck this under. This is good on the muscles. And call it good. Yep. All right, that was a workout, not gonna lie. I'm just gonna let this sit for another hour and a half or so, and then I will come back and we'll actually proof the dough at that point. See you in a little bit. All right, we are back. It has actually been about an hour and a half, so I am now going to, oh, it's risen again beautifully. So now what we are going to do is empty our dough out onto our work surface, a lightly floured work surface. So first I'm going to sprinkle some flour. Now I will turn this out. And I'm going to use a scale just to measure these to make sure that we're somewhat in the vicinity of equal portions. Okay. Now that I pull this out of my container, I'm going to let this sit actually for about 5-10 minutes while I go and wash my bowl, because I don't want to get crusty dough all over my bowl. It will make it a lot harder to clean. And 2, it's nice to let this relax for a little bit before we actually do the shaping. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll be right back in about 5 to 10 minutes. Now that our dough has sat for a little bit and I got to wash my pan, I'm just going to kind of cut this into thirds. So just kind of eyeball it for now. And then I'll use my kitchen scale to double check. Zero. 971. Oh, 961. And that's fallen off. A 1,000. You know what? I'm okay with that. It's good enough. Close enough. All right. So now I'm going to gently shape these into loaves. Now I use oblong batons and oblong clay bakers. So I shape my dough into an oblong shape. I'm just tightening up the shape. Making sure that big air bubbles are out. Not really kneading it, but just giving it a nice firm shape. And then we'll tighten it up again before we put it in our proofing basket. Okay. Number 2. Just kind of lifting up. I'm going now in like a clockwise direction, folding it over itself. This is a little sticky, so that's why we have our flour. You don't want to add too much flour, but just enough that it's helping you to shape. And just keep tucking it in and rolling it. Last one. Dough feels really nice. You can see all three. All right, so now you definitely want to make sure you have plenty of flour in your proofing baskets. As you can see, these are oval, or I should say oblong. There we go, nice and floured. So these are ready. So again, I'm just gonna tighten the shape. Lift it up and put it down into our proofing basket. Tighten the shape by pulling it towards you, towards itself. Lift up, and then you put it into your proofing basket, seam side up. Last one. Tighten the shape, pull it towards you, towards itself. Lift it into your hand. Place it seam side up. And then what you can do is take some of this leftover flour I just sprinkle it on top because we really don't want to get any flour in our clay baker either. You definitely don't want it to stick. So these have a lot of nice flour on top. We're not wasting any of it. I'm going to cover these with a tea towel, and I will let them sit for about an hour or until my oven has preheated. So my oven is set to 450 degrees. It's preheating right now. I turned it on to preheat as soon as I took the dough out of the pan and put it onto the counter.
All right, friends, it is ready. Our oven is preheated to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Our dough has been sitting out for about 45 minutes, and I am going to start to do the bake. So, my clay bakers or cloches have been in the oven during the entire preheat. That's very important when you're using clay. Let's dump it out. I will score the top. Lid back on. I love this one. I love how that steam comes out every time I open it up. I got all of my cloches from breadtopia.com. I believe 2 of them I got off at breadtopia.com, and then this one My dog is drinking. This cloche I got off their Amazon. They have an Amazon store as well, so you can get these bread pans or clay bakers off Breadtopia, the Breadtopia Amazon store. This one was a little more expensive. And this is the regular terracotta one. I love all three. I do have Amazon affiliate links to all of the items that I use for my bread making, all the tools in my description down below. So definitely take a look at that. And that just means that I would get a small commission if you decide to purchase anything. Doesn't affect the price that you pay, but just means I would get a small commission off any purchases. Okay, time to set my timer for 20 minutes. So the cloches are going to bake for 450 degrees, or at 450 degrees for 20 minutes in the oven. Then I'm going to remove the lids and then have them bake for about 30 minutes more at that point. Okay, our timer went off. Time to take the lids off and see what they look like. There's the first one. Oh, they're looking beautiful. This is such a fun part. It's like a surprise. Okay, I will show you how they're looking in just a sec. Let's show them. So here are beautiful 3 loaves. Looking great. Can't wait to see. Ooh, careful. My daughter's helping me film. Yeah, they're looking great. All right, let's close the oven. Okay, our loaves are ready. We're gonna take these out. They're looking amazing, really nice. So I'm just gonna set them on top of the stove for now, and then transfer them to a wire cooling rack. We're gonna have to wait about an hour before we can dig in, which is gonna be really hard, I have to say, because they smell so good. First one. Two. And our last one. All right, here they are. I'm gonna let them cool for about an hour before we dig in. All right, before we dive in and I share the crumb with you, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. If you are enjoying this content, please like and subscribe and share. If you have any questions about anything that I have not covered, or if there's anything that you'd like me to cover, definitely post in the comments below. I'm also going to post in my description below a printable recipe for you. All right, let's check out these loaves. What do you think, Blake? You excited?
I'm so excited.
Okay, ready? Mm-hmm. All right, Blake is now the camera woman. I'm going to cut it in half just to check out the crumb, and then we'll cut a slice for you, and another one for me. Oh, and one for Miles too. I can already tell it feels really soft. I think the butter helps with that. Oh yes, look at that beautiful crumb. It's really light and airy. You can see how soft this is. A little bit different. Even the crust, it's just lighter. I think the butter really helps make this a lot lighter than the regular without the butter. And the sugar gives it a little bit of a sweetness. Okay. A hint of sweetness. The whole kitchen smells so good. Cannot wait to dig in. All right. So we'll put some butter on it. I like a lot of butter. What about you? You want butter? Okay. How's that? Good. Just cut this. Cannot. Yummy. All right. Mmm. Yummy. What do you think, like?
Good.
All right, here. Mmm. Oh my gosh. It's so good right out of the oven. Check it out, Miles. What do you think?
Good. Can I have some butter?
Yeah. Miles just got home from soccer practice. All right, Blake's inhaling hers. Yeah,
Very
Blake,
flaky.
It's not super thick crust though, I have to say. Pretty good, right? A little bit
Very
different.
soft.
Yeah, a little bit softer than the regular. Kid approved. Oh, Blake gives it a thumbs up.